I was simply trying to say, the champ, he's never lost as a professional, right?
Yeah, newsflash.
Yeah, what gave it away? His record?
But he's lost as an amateur, right?
So what?
Yeah, so what? He was BFD.
So, who beat him?
Who cares? He was an amateur.
Amateurs don't count, honey. Are you high? Are you on something?
Hey, shut the fuck up. Don't you realize what she's saying?
Although I think this will be a very exciting fight, that's one of the things I just had to point out that, Carissa Shields has never been beat as a pro, and they use the exact same strategy. As a matter of fact, they've been building this fight for probably 3 years. You know, they got the one person that beat her as an amateur, and that's what Samuel L. Jackson did in The Great White Hype. Now, whether this fight will live up to the fans' expectations will yet to be seen. We'll know at the end. But basically, in my opinion, I think the fight will be exactly like the amateur fight. Both fighters have got extremely better, but the pace and the rhythm will still be the same. Carissa Shields will be coming forward, trying to counter off Savannah Marshall's jab, finding entry points. The only slight difference is Carissa Shields has a lot more patience and better timing, but she still makes the same mistake that she made as an amateur, is pulling straight back from punches, and can be caught by Marshall the exact same way she was caught as an amateur, pulling out from punches by the exact same person. Another thing that might give her trouble is when Marshall switches to southpaw. In this fight up at the top, when the girl switched to southpaw, Carissa Shields seemed kind of confused, and she got caught with a straight left, and Marshall did that to her opponent on the bottom. I think the most important factor is that Carissa Shields has only been down once in her career, and it's been by an uppercut. The girl threw an uppercut and a left hook and knocked Carissa Shields down. One of the only times that we seen her knocked down in her career was from an uppercut that she didn't see. She was coming in with the high guard, and the girl just threw a lead uppercut and a left hook and knocked her down. Well, what does Savannah Marshall do? Her best punch, the uppercut. And it's the uppercut. She knows how to hide it to where you don't see it. That girl never reacted to the uppercut because she didn't see it. Savannah Marshall is a master at hiding the uppercut and disguising it. And this is how she does it. She baits you. She doesn't fully commit on her jab. She just probes with it. She'll just tap and throw it at the high guard. Tap, throw it at the high guard, try to get you to come in. Then she'll probe, just stick it out there, give a little head movement. And while she's probing, moving her head and giving different looks, and you think that no offense is coming your way and you're safe, bam, there goes the uppercut. She drops it when you try to attack her head, laying on the right side. So not only does she have bombs, but she has the delivery system to get the bomb to the target, and that is very dangerous. You never want to give punchers confidence. And she didn't have any knockouts in the amateurs, but now she's knocking people out, and she has confidence, and she knows how to land her bombs, and she's a big girl. Like I said, look, this is her trick. She'll throw the jab, step back, lay on the right side, get you to reach for her head on the right side, and bam, there goes the uppercut. She's knocked plenty of people out with this same trick. And if Carissa Shields does not take her serious, she will be knocked down with this punch. But Hannah Gabriel's knocked Carissa down in the same manner, and John David Jackson basically gave her the same game plan that she should do in this fight, but she just didn't listen. Check it out.
You don't go faint, okay? She's trying to sucker you in. She's here bouncing. Put that jab downstairs and upstairs. Don't look for that long right hand. That thing was that short right hand we talked about.
The same thing that makes Carissa Shields the greatest women's fighter of all time is the same thing that sometimes cripples her in fights, and she doesn't listen. She has a great teacher in John David Jackson, but at times she won't listen to him. Like right here, he goes to the corner and tries to give her instructions. He says, give me water. Now, to the untrained eyes, no big deal, right? But to people who know what they're looking at, she's coming off of a knockdown in the round before, and instead of leaning on her corner, she don't really lean on her corner. She tells him what to do. Give me water. So the life event that happened to her gave her a lot of strength, but at times it could be her Achilles heel because she doesn't have that trust for a male figure, because understandably, but in the corner, you have to be able to rely and trust your corner. And because she has that stigma, it makes fights that should be easy for her very difficult at times.
Being like grown men in general, like you're over the age of 16. I don't even want you looking at me, talking to me. So growing up and having just that attitude towards men and that attitude toward myself as like.
You said before the fight that you were working on being more composed in the ring after speaking to Floyd, picking your shots, not rushing. You seem to do that all the way through the fight. I noticed a change in you for the first round. You're very calm. When you look back, do you look back and think, you know what, that was a really good performance?
It was a great performance, but it was sometimes that I rushed. Like I would hurt her, and then my hands would just start flying at 100 miles per hour. I'm like, no, I wanted to be more settled down, but it's something in here that me and my coaches are working on. We're working on it. To be more composed. It's like I love fighting so much. I love boxing so much. So when I hurt her, it was like hurt her again, and I just come throwing punches, and it was like, no, settle down and fire the shots. But it's the first time that I actually realized that in my fights, and that my coach pointed out, and he said.
Now that you heard the negative, here's the positive and Claressa Shields' greatest asset.
I think all that kind of prepared me to be this person that I am. Just to have that mental strength and have that, just to have that mind to not panic. It's not really many situations that I panic in. Like you never see me like just, oh, I don't know what to do, or we don't. It's always like, okay, something's happening, be calm, figure out what to do. Like I don't really get like frantic. I don't know why, and I think it's weird sometimes because it's like, dude, have some emotion, but then it's like, no, I'd rather not.
Her experiences also taught her how to rely on herself and think and talk to herself during the fight and think going down the stretch, and that's another key quality that's going to be a factor in this fight. Check it out.
It was kind of like giving myself kind of how I was able to come up that third round and actually like just dominate, because in the first round when she took me down, I got back up. So that was a mental note for me, like, okay, you know how to get back up. And then also being on the ground, like she was really just trying to hold me down. She didn't want me to get up. So it wasn't like she was holding me down and causing any damage. So then again, that's another mental note, like, okay, you're not even getting hurt. Just keep figuring out how you can get up. And she was a very experienced brown belt, so I wasn't really too hard on myself when I got up and when I fell back on the ground trying to punch her when she was on the ground and ended up back on the bottom. Just like some learning curves. But then second round came in, she tried to ground and pound me. I landed more shots from the bottom than she did from the top. And I could just feel like her wavering, but it was like she knew that all she had to do was, hold me on the ground. So third round, when I went out there, I was like, you know what, this first 10 minutes of this fight has been, I had got a little ground and pound in the end of the second round, but it was like this fight has been mainly on the ground. I'm like, Claressa, if you're going to win this fight, go out there and hit her with your right hand, knock her brain loose, and don't get taken down, and knock this girl out and win. And that was my only goal for the third round, was to land my right hand, which is very powerful, very fast. Sprawl, I did that. And then once I sprawl, I'm like, I'm just going to hold her here and keep punching her until she just quit. And I was able to do that. And my coaches knew.
With that being said, this is going to be a very exciting fight. Look to see a lot of rapid punching during this fight and a lot of use of the shoulders and the forearms, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a very rough and rugged fight. They're going to be pushing off. It's going to be a lot of inside fighting. The referee's going to earn his check that night. But I think based off of what I've seen, Claressa Shields and her trainers' trust grow with every fight, and she's starting to listen more.
Take your time and just pick your shots so that way you don't.
He told her to pick her shots and take her time, and that's exactly what she does. She holds the jab out right here, pushes her back, stiff arms her, and then throws her right hand to the shoulder. Then right here, she throws a jab and then a right hand to the body. Then she angles off and then does it again and knocks her all the way across the ring with that shot. And then she varies it off again, picking her shots again, jabs, right hand to the shoulder, picking her shots very carefully and placing her punches. And then right there, she just throws a lead right hand and it barely misses. I expect Claressa Shields to stay at home, stay balanced, and double jab her way in. And I think that would be an effective strategy not to get caught with the uppercut. Fun fact, Buster Douglas had a good uppercut and beat Tyson with it. But Georgie Benton, who was in Holyfield's corner, also trained John David Jackson. So I expect them to come in and be leery of the uppercut, just like how Holyfield was against Buster Douglas. And I think that Claressa Shields will jab and stay home like that and parry the shots. And I think that when Savannah Marshall tries to set up that big uppercut, leaning to the right just like Douglas, she'll back out and try to counter that with the right hand. I think that's going to be the key in this fight for Carissa Shields is going to be countering that shot and staying home and keeping balance and keeping her base. But with all things being fair, I think Carissa Shields should win the fight. But if Carissa Shields thinks that she was robbed in the amateur fight, why would she go back and create certain situations where she could be robbed again? But anyway, it's the Boxing Scholar, and I'm out.
I put everything on the line to win that fight. Only thing that wasn't in my favor was the judges. That was it.